Hi there, friends. It's Leah with Pinkfresh. I am excited to be hanging out with you today. I'm coming to you live from Texas. So hopefully I'm using my phone hotspot. So hopefully everything is has a connection is okay. If we get a little bit of connection issues and bumps in the road here and there, just bear with me. It should settle out and come back. So just be aware that that might possibly be an option. So I'm just going to give you a minute or so to let everybody find this live feed, and then we'll get going for the day. I see some people have jumped on. So we've got my Heather is here, so my partner in crime, doing all of the moderating. And then we've got Sherry and Donna. Hi, friends. Nicole and Alana and Teresa. Marissa and Lori and Liz and Karen, Sandra and PK and Lori. Okay, tons of people joining us so far. So excited to have you guys. So if you're new to our lives, let us know. We'd like to welcome you. We're excited that you have found us and that you're joining us. So like I mentioned, I am coming to you live from my in-laws house in Texas, and I am using my phone hotspot. So if we have any internet connection issues here and there, just be patient. It should settle back in as we go. So we had a new release yesterday. We released a bunch of new stamps, stencils, dies, and then one product suite that had a hot foil plate as well. We have introduced some really great new slimline builder stencils. And then of course, we have also come out with those coordinating stencils to match the stamp sets from the washi tape release in March. So lots of great items in this release. We love that those stencils freshen up some product you may already have in your collection and just give you some more new options to use it from. All right, I see some more people have jumped on. Dana and Rita and Liz and Linda and Sherry and Sland and Renee and Rebecca, Tiffany, lots of people. Perfect. Thanks for joining me today. So before I get this camera flipped around and you take a look at what I'm going to use today, I'm going to use one of our new stamps and stencils. Let's just go over, we give away a $15 gift card code at the end of every live session. So all you have to do is comment, which you're already doing, leave comments, ask questions. Now keep in mind, I probably only see about 10% of the comments as they come through once I flip the camera around and start creating. But Heather's really great about catching questions that I likely will miss. I answer what I see, but I don't see everything. So keep in mind, we're also not ignoring you if we don't happen to see your comments. So if we miss a question, just ask it again. But also sometimes a lot of times viewers will answer those questions as well. So just chat with us, hang out with us in the chat. And then underneath this video, there's a little arrow button and it says share next to it. So click on that arrow button and you can share it a couple of different ways. You can send it in an email to your friends. You can share it on your Facebook page. You can share it in a Facebook group if it's allowed. Just make sure it's allowed. And then come back here into the chat and let us know that you shared. And that's another entry into the $15 gift card giveaway. All right, well, that is everything that I have for you before we get going. So I'm saying hi to everyone that has jumped on since I have started the initial welcome. And since I am in Texas, my space is set up a little bit differently. And it's a little compacted. So we are going to probably make a fairly simple card today, but it still is going to be fun and we're going to be using some new product. So I see that it looks like Wendy is her first time here. She's joining us from Spain. Hello and welcome. We're super excited that you have found us and you're joining us today. All right, friends, let's get this camera flipped around and my video settings all correct, and we are going to get going. Okay. Let's turn that off so that it's not too bright and you'll be able to see things a little bit better. Okay, friends, today I am going to use this new stamp and stencil set designed by the lovely, talented Emily Midget. This is a big floral cluster. It fits edge to edge on an A2 sized card. So it doesn't have a coordinating die, but it works perfectly with a lot of our essentials dies. And then it has the coordinating layering stencils as well. And as you can see, what the layering stencils do is they allow you to easily color in the image as shown on the back of the packaging. Now this floral image is beautiful and perfect for watercolor or Copic marker coloring as well. Lots of different options. Of course, I'm going to be using the layering stencils today because we've only got an hour, and watercoloring an image like this takes me hours upon hours. So we're going to go with layering stencils so you can see them in action and how it works. But they're already perfect for any coloring of any type. Looks like Beth is joining us live, and it's the first time catching us live as well. So welcome. We're so happy that you're here. And we are going to get going. So first things first, I know we've been doing a lot of heat embossing these days, but we're going to do that again because I thought that this image would look really beautiful, heat embossed, and then colored in with the layering stencils. So, but I am going to choose a little bit of a different color of embossing powder for us this time around. So first things first, let's go ahead and actually, before I put the magnets down, let's get this stamp positioned onto the cardstock, and then I'll know the best place to put my magnets. Now, I always like to be a little gentler, so I haven't actually used this stamp set. It's another reason why I chose to use it today, because I wanted to use it. So I always try to be a little bit gentler when I'm pulling the stamp off for the first time because, you know, it's a little bit stickier when you first have it. I don't like my acetate to get all, rolled up. So I try to be a little bit gentler on that first go round of getting the stamp pulled off. So then we're going to place magnets where they won't interfere with that stamp. So this is an A2 sized, full A2 sized panel. And I think you're not seeing my full, there we go, my full Misty. So as you can see, this will perfectly fit once I cut it out, because of course I will cut it out with one of our essentials rectangle dies. So it will fit perfectly in that rectangle die and then give a really nice matte for your card. All right, so let's pick this guy up. And I always feel like that initial pickup kind of moves your cardstock, but I always wipe my clear stamps down before I use them, just to get any dust particles or anything off from the manufacturing process. And then I also feel that makes them a little bit less sticky as well. And you keep hearing me clicking. It's the little thing I'm using to hold my my damp cloth in place. Okay, those are kind of getting in my way. Okay, so because I'm going to heat emboss this, I'm going to go ahead and prep my page for doing some heat embossing. There isn't a foil plate for this one. Honest truth, the details in this floral image do not translate to a foil plate. They're just too intricate. So I'm pretty certain there won't likely be a foil plate for this set in the future. It's going to stick with stamps. Hi, Dee. Was happy to see you join here. I'm just seeing you. It's possible you've been here for a little bit. I'm just now seeing your comment. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this guy inked up and heat embossed. And then we'll get into the layering stencils. Now, I apologize if this camera jiggles a little bit. My setup is a little bit different than it is at home. And I think that the thing that my camera sits in is a little bit more affected by my movement in this setup. So as I'm stamping here, you're just gonna have to bear with me because it might be a little jostly as you're watching. Okay. Yeah, this table is a little bit more wobbly too. Yes, Lori, I have definitely done that in the past too, where you add a little bit of tape onto the back of your paper panel to make sure it doesn't move. I've absolutely definitely done that in the past. I think we'll be okay. If not, I have another panel that we can re-stamp and do it again if need be. There's no shame in my game. If I make a mistake, we can always restart. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys loved the blog hop so far. Yes, if you guys haven't actually checked out the blog hop, be sure to do that. There's a ton of inspiration going on. And then of course, prizes. There's prizes at every possible place you can think of. So we have a blog hop going on. There is a grand prize giveaway on our blog, and then you can win $10, $25 gift cards from commenting along the blog hop stops. There is also another grand prize giveaway on our product intro video here on YouTube. And then finally, we also have an Instagram hop going on where there is the final grand prize on our Instagram post, and then 10 more chances to win a $25 gift card code on the rest of the hops along the stop. I'm just checking out the image here to make sure I got a good impression, and it looks like I did. So I think we are ready to heat emboss. Paper here. Just go ahead and put this to the side for now. Hi, Cheryl. Okay, so I am going to heat emboss this image in rose gold this time around. We do gold super often, and we do white here and there as well. So I wanted to try out rose gold and see how it would look with the ink blending. So I know that, you know, the leaves and a couple of the flowers are not actually going to be the same color, the rose gold coloring of the embossing powder, but I think it should be neutral enough that it'll still be really pretty. And in the end, maybe we won't like it, but we'll never know unless we try it out, of course. So let's go ahead and try it out and see what we think. Of course, oh, there's the lid. All right, so this is gonna get a little loud, and I'm not going to talk during when I'm doing the heat gun, just because Zoom kind of makes it sound a little like warbled and such. So I'm going to just heat emboss. So to give me a minute while this is heat embossing. All right, heat embossing is done. So the rose gold embossing powder I'm using is Ariel. I think someone asked that. So that is the one I'm using. I am unsure if it's super fine or not. It just says rose gold metallic. So I don't actually know on that. It's one of my favorite rose gold embossing powders. So it's just my preference. I think this is the right side up here. All right, so let's go ahead and start getting this image blended. So as you guys know, I like to stick my panel down without my hair and included on it. And then I like to tape down my stencils over top. So since we are ink blending to a pre-stamped image or heat emboss, technically, we will not use the alignment guides that you see in the corner of the stencils. Instead, we will align to the actual stamped image itself. Now, I'm going to mention I am using these stencils all out of order. So I'm starting with stencil 2, and then I'm going to stencil 4. Next, I go to stencil 3, and then I'm going to 5. Finally, I will do stencil 1, and then I'll do stencil 6. And that's just because I like to do each grouping. So each flower with its details in 1, and then the next set of flowers and its details in 2, and then finally the leaves. And this stencil set is just set up a little bit different than that. And that's just not the way that my brain works. So I am going to start with stencil number 2. And we are going to align this guy to the stamped image. I'm just going to get a couple pieces of delicate surface tape to help me hold the stencil down when I get it in the right spot. Go ahead and put that tape on there now. And then this helps me. I hold onto the tape. I get the stencil aligned, and I try to align it with those 2 large flowers first, because then the little berry pieces, they just align right in place. And so I am going to do the first set. So I am traveling this week. So when I travel, I bring my ink cubes with me. And so for these first flowers, I am going to use pinks. We're going to start with Sparkling Rose, and then we'll go up to Raspberry Bliss. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate that. That's such a kind comment. I'm glad you guys like my tip about never fear if you want to change your order of your stencils. Our brains all work differently. And so, and mine certainly does. And so definitely use your stencils out of order if you feel like they don't work for you, and that is perfectly okay. So we're starting with Sparkling Rose. These images are a little bit larger, and so what I do when I am ink blending larger images like this is I blend a little bit deeper in the center, and then as I buff that ink out to the edges of the flower, I soften it, and that just gives a little bit of added shading or dimension to the flower. You could also do these in multiple colors. I'm going to stick with 1 today, but that is just the way that I do it. You can do it any way you see fit. You can, ink blend heavy and really get that color in there. I just have a little bit of a softer style, and so I like to ink blend heavier at the base of the image and then blend those colors out just to give a little bit more dimension. The berries, I'm not going to worry too much about. I'm just going to add some color into them. They will naturally get some pooling just because they're pretty small little pieces anyway. So you don't have to worry too much about shading on the berries. All right, so we've got our first layer done. I agree, Karen, it is very freeing to do the stencils out of order. So arrange them in the way that best fits how your brain works. I always think that that's best. So I am just wiping the stencil down with a dry microfiber cloth right now. When the show is over, I have a bottle of rubbing alcohol, and that I'll just spritz over my stencil and wipe it down with a dry cloth again, and it will get any excess ink residue off my stencil, but then they instantly dry. And so they are ready to go and be used again. Yes, and I know that the ink cubes are still out of stock. We're working on that. Keep in mind, we're working on that every single day. And just so you guys know, my husband just arrived home. So if my dogs go a little bit crazy, that's the reason why, but hopefully he will be able to get them calmed down quickly. So we're on to stencil number 4, which is the details of these pink flowers. And we are going to do the same thing. Catherine is asking, what if you have the layering stencils, pardon me, but not the stamp? So the great thing about that, Catherine, is in the corner of each stencil, there's an alignment guide. I think you might be able to see it at that angle. And there's one on each corner of the stencil. And so what that does is that makes it so you can align it to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of cardstock. And as long as you align that stencil with that alignment guide, you can go in whichever order you want, but that will make sure that all of the stencil images line up correctly. And then you'll get that soft, no line kind of coloring feel without the use of the stamp set. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, we are going to use Raspberry Bliss for the details. This is our darkest shade of pink. So I am going to be a little bit light-handed with it because I don't want to go crazy with the darkness of this pink. So I definitely tap it off quite a bit on my glass mat, and then I just pick it up to use it on a different part of the flower. Same as what I did with the first stencil, I blend a little deeper at the base, pardon me, and then just work it out towards the other side of the flower just to give it a little bit more depth and dimension. And same as before, I don't worry too much about the berries. They're such small little pieces that you don't have to worry too much about shading or dimension on those. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you are enjoying these ink colors. They're some of my faves. All right, so let's go ahead and get this stencil wiped off. We're going to put away our pink inks because the next set of stencils are the other flowers, and we're going to switch our colors up on those ones. So let's get our pinks put away. Let's also take a look at what our first set of flowers look, all ink blended in. And look at how beautiful that is. Just lovely dimension and shades added in there, and super easy to do. Okay, so next up we're using stencil number 3, and we are going to line it up with our stamped image. Basically, I am lining up this flower here and this flower, and that allows, or basically makes it so the rest of the stencil aligns in the correct place. And that is just a tip that I have learned over time. If you just find 2 things to line it up to that are maybe a little bit larger, a little bit easier to line up, the rest of the stencil will align effortlessly that way. So we are going to use oranges for these next flowers. I thought this would be, we're in the middle of summer. I thought this would be really fun and cheery. We're going to use the 2 middle shades of orange, apricot and clementine. And of course, we're going to use the lighter layer on the first layer of flowers. And let's make sure I don't have any excess pink on my glass mat so I don't run the risk of contaminating my apricot ink pad. And same as before, I am going to blend a little bit heavier either at the base or in the middle of the flower. And then we will ink blend it a little bit softer as the petals go out. Oh, thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. Okay. All right, so this one we're going to ink blend from the center and just go get a little bit lighter handed as we get out towards those petals. And this one, I think I'm going to ink blend from the edge. And you can really do this however you see fit. I am just ink blending it darker in the area where I feel like it works best. But you can do it however you prefer. Yes, oranges and raspberries. I think this is a really fun summery color palette. I think it's going to turn out really fun. The store. So are you asking about, when our ink pads or our ink cubes are in stock, they come in a color family of 4, and they are just, they are housed in these little blister packs. I don't know of a better way to say it. So it's not anything special. It's just how they come from us. So hopefully that answers your question, Rita. Okay. Pick up the excess. And I think we are good to go with this first set of the next flowers. You're welcome, Donna. Oh, Lori, that will be a fun purchase when you are able to make it. The large ink pads are fantastic to have. Oh, look at how pretty that color palette is so far. So fresh and summery. I'm super excited for how this is turning out. Okay, so we've got the details for our next flowers. These ones are a little bit harder to line up. So what I suggest is line up the flowers on this side, because they actually line up perfectly with the edge of the image, the base of the image. And then go ahead and line up this small one up here. And that does a really great job of getting the rest of those in place. Now, something you're going to notice on this stencil is we do have the little middle here for the pink flower. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my pink inks again real quick and grab my pink brush. And we are going to grab the Raspberry Bliss and just get that middle really quickly. And then we can clean our stencil off and go about getting the rest of the oranges done. But I didn't want to accidentally cover that over in orange. So we're going to ink blend that. And this is probably unnecessary, but just to be safe, I'm going to cover it up with a little bit of tape so I don't accidentally run orange over top of it. Alrighty. So up next, this stencil, we are going to ink blend with Clementine, which is our third shade of oranges in our orange color family. And these are just the lovely details of that second set of flowers. So I'm going to do the same as before. I'm going to do a little darker in areas and then blend that color out a little bit softer. And I'm just following basically what I did with the initial flowers for where I blend a little deeper versus where I blend a little bit lighter. Okay, these ones go a little bit quicker because there's less area to cover. All right, looks like Heather answered some questions I probably missed. Thank you for that, Heather. All right. So we are done with our orange layers. So let's go ahead and get this wiped off and see what our flowers look like. And then we really just have the leaves to finish. Thank you, Victoria. I appreciate that. Ooh, that's super fun. I'm loving that. Okay. Beth, orange and purples are your favorite colors. those are good ones too. I love Pinkfresh purple. I think we've got a really awesome selection of purples. All right, so up next this is actually technically stencil number 1, but as you all know, I arranged these in an order that suits my brain a little bit better. So this is the first layer of the greenery. And of course, I did not choose standard greens for my greenery. I chose our selection of aquas. So let me get my orange inks put away real quick. We are going to use Aquamarine and Tidal Pond for our leaves today. Hi, Julie. Thanks for joining us. All right. So we are on our final set of stencils. So up first, we're going to use Aquamarine. And we're going to get these first layers of greenery ink blended in. I don't worry as much about greenery with the shading. They're not as big as the flowers are. So I try to do it a little bit, but mostly I'll just get them ink blended in, blend a little bit heavier at the base, and call that good. Mom full of joy. I'm excited to see the full reveal too. I have, like I said, I haven't actually used this set yet, which was one of the reasons why I really wanted to use it today for live, because I wanted to use the set. I just ran out of time last week. And I'm excited to see how it turns out with all of the details. We only have one more stencil after this before we have the big reveal. So not too much longer. Thanks, Karen. It's one of my favorite color combos too. And I'm really excited to see how it looks with this new floral image. If you weren't here at the beginning, this new set is called Best of Everything Floral. And it is designed by the talented Emily Midget. So it's a super beautiful floral that fits an A2 sized card perfectly. But of course you could trim it in pieces and use it on other sized cards as well. All right, so there is our first layer of greenery. Let's get that wiped off. Shay, our layering stencils are super fun to use. And very easy and user-friendly. So hopefully one day you will get your hands on them and try them out. Okay, so let's get this final little layer of greenery ink blended. So for this one, the stencil pieces are pretty small. So for me, as long as they're just inside of the green I already see, I'm good. I think that's perfect and lined up. And we are going to ink these up with Tidal Pond. Hi, Jean. Welcome. We're happy that you're here. No worries on being late. Of course, this will be saved and available for replay not too long after we're done. So if you wanted to go back and see the first part, you certainly can. Dolly, we'd love to hear that. I'm glad you enjoy our layering stencils. We love hearing that. Okay. As I mentioned, these are just really small little details to add some interest and shading and detail to the greenery. So these ones will color in quite easy, and I'm not real worried about shading or anything like that. We are at the end here, so we are about to do the final reveal of our ink blended image. I'm excited to see how this turns out as well. Okay, so here we go. And that is super fun and fresh and beautiful. And I actually think it looks really nice ink blended with that rose gold embossing powder, even though, you know, that doesn't technically match perfectly with the green. I actually think it's a really nice touch, and I'm excited about how this turned out. All right. Oh, it looks like Daniel Diaz has joined the party. Welcome, friend. We're happy that you're here. Okay, let's get a little bit of cleanup going on here so we can move on to our next step. So I think I'm done with inks. So I'm going to go ahead and get those set aside. And I'm going to get the stencils. Like I mentioned, I'll clean them later with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and set them aside. And let's get this panel cut out. So I have to grab my die cut machine. I don't know if anybody else does this, but do you like lay your machines and such out on the floor when you are creating so that you have easy access to things that you maybe don't always have sitting on your desk? I don't know, maybe that's just me. But we've got our die cut machine here. And let's get cutting plates ready. And we are going to get this beautiful piece cut out. You probably won't be able to see this entire thing because I can't quite fit it all into my screen, but hopefully you get the gist of it here. Okay. So then I am going to just grab a little bit of Post-it tape and get this guy cut down. Oh, thank you, Mom Full of Joy. I appreciate that. You know what? I think I'm going to do a little bit smaller. Nah, no, I'm not. Let's stick with this one. All right. And let's get this trimmed down. And I'm so used to my Gemini, but I bring my Platinum 6 when I'm traveling because it's just easier and I don't have to plug it in. But I am not used to manual die cutting, so that's probably a bit loud, but we only have to do it once. There we go. Okay, I think we're done die cutting for now. If I need to grab it again, I will. Get that off my desk. Okay, so we've got our beautiful panel all trimmed out now. And I have to decide what color card base I want. I think that's the right way. There we go. I have to decide which color of card base I want to choose today for this. That's a good idea, Barbara. I don't have one of those with me, but that is a really great idea. So, oh, that's saying your hubby says you make a crafting circle around you. Yeah, that I get that. I kind of do the same thing. At my home, I have like a cart that I put everything on and I pull it real close to me to be able to grab all of the things that I need. But I don't have that here with me. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some foam tape on the back of this. Normally I would have those panels of foam tape that I create on my own with chunks of or panels of white craft foam and score tape, but since I'm traveling, I'm just using foam tape for now because it was just easier to not have to grab all of those supplies with me. So we're going to just be using foam tape for the day. Okay. A couple more pieces to it. And hopefully we won't have we won't see too many little indentations in those areas where I'm not adding the foam. Thanks, Dee. I appreciate that. That's very kind. Okay, so like I mentioned, I have not actually picked out a color for my card base. So I'm going to do that really quick. I have a feeling I'm going to pick either pink or orange. So let me see. Nope, that's just not the right shade of pink. So we're going to skip that one. What about, this might be just, so that's a contender. It's a bit dark, but I do like it. I like how bold it is. And then we have this orange as well, which is really throwing off the color of my screen there, but hopefully it will fix itself once there's not so much of it on there. I actually think I'm really preferring the pink, so I think that's what we're going to go with today. So this is crafting live with Leah when she's traveling. Oftentimes I already have card bases already complete and easy to grab, but I don't have those with me. So you guys are getting to see more of a complete process here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this guy trimmed down. I'm just going to trim it at 4 1/4 and make a lovely top folding card base. And somewhere in here, down here, I have my score pow. And we will just get this guy scored in half. All right, I'm glad you're liking my choice of pink. Appreciate that. Okay. Perfect. Now I think that is gorgeous. I love that bright shade of pink. It really pops with those pink flowers. So thanks so much. Let's see here. I'm just catching up on comments here. Yes, Heather is wonderful, Donna. I agree with you completely on that. Okay, so let's get our sentiment figured out here up next. So I have pre-foiled a sentiment from our Celebrate hot foil plate with coordinating die. And I pre-foiled it in rose gold. Might be a little hard to see here on camera, but that's rose gold. And I think it's going to look really beautiful, kind of just tucked in these flowers here. But I do want to use one of the sentiments from the stamp set as a secondary sentiment. Probably this guy right here. I thought that you're the best and deserve the best of everything goes really well with the word celebrate and, you know, celebrating whoever you're sending it to, the recipient of this card. So let's go ahead and grab my mini Misty. I agree, Donna. Sending you the same. And let's grab some cardstock. Go ahead and get these guys in here. And we are going to stamp this just in Detail Black onto some white cardstock and trim it down into a strip. Super simple. Don't mind my head as I get this in here and lined up, although I'm going to trim it down, so I guess it doesn't really matter if it's super straight or not. Move my magnets up. I know, Donna, you're so sweet and encouraging and wonderful, and I really appreciate that. It's a rare find these days. Okay, so if you know us at all, we go to the school of ink these up lightly and stamp a couple times so that we don't accidentally press too hard and smush the sentiment and ruin the integrity of that nice dainty font. So I'm going to stamp it up just one more time. It should be one more time should be sufficient for getting that good crisp impression with our Detail Black ink. Okay. And there we have it, and that looks great. So let's get our sentiment cleaned off here, get that Detail Black off because it does leave a little bit of residue behind. It's a property of all hybrid inks, by the way. I don't have my stamp cleaner with me, but if you've ever seen the stamp cleaner I use, that is really great for getting that black hybrid ink off of your stamps. And I will often spritz it down and then rub it with a soft toothbrush. Okay, so there is our secondary sentiment that we just need to trim down. Thank you, guys. I'm glad you're enjoying this card. I appreciate your kind comments. All right, so hopefully that should be dry enough. Oh, Mom Full of Joy, I think you're gonna love it. I think there is a good purpose for all of the different sizes of Misties. And so I hope you enjoy your mini. They're really great for stamping smaller things and sentiments and all of those things. Okay, there we go. So we've got this great secondary sentiment. Oh, I love how this is going to turn out, friends. I'm excited. Okay. So here we have all of these. Okay, and I think, yep. And I'm probably going to pop this guy up with a little bit of foam as well. Yeah, that did turn out nice and crisp, didn't it? Okay, so I am going to do something real quick. So let's grab our die cut machine one more time, because I didn't think about doing this beforehand. And I am going to grab the coordinating die that matches the Celebrate hot foil word, and I'm just going to cut a couple more layers of that just from some white cardstock, just so I can get a little bit of added dimension onto that die cut word. That to me is one of the easiest ways to get that added dimension. So let's just do that real quick. So this might be a little loud. So just bear with me while we get these cut out. Amy, we don't have the ink refills in a set yet. I'll pass that information along. I know that would make it easier to get them in, just to, to be able to buy all of them. So I'll definitely pass that information along, but right now we don't have them as a bundle. Okay, so we've got one, and I just need to get the middle punched out here. And let's go ahead and do that one more time so that I have two pieces to give me just a little bit more added dimension for my sentiment. Oh, thanks, Cheryl. I'm glad that I'm helping you think a little bit outside of the box. I love the pinks and oranges together from our inks. I think that they complement each other really nicely. So I'm glad that you were enjoying this. All right, I think that should be plenty of layers for giving a little bit of added dimension. So let's go ahead and put our die cut machine back down, and we will get these glued together. Thanks for bearing with me through that, because I did not have it pre-done. I didn't really think about it until I was noticing that it just felt like that sentiment needed a little bit more oomph to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and just grab a little piece of card or paper so I don't get glue all over my glass mat. Now, if you get glue on your glass mat, it's really easy to clean off. As we mentioned, we typically keep a little spray bottle of rubbing alcohol on our desks, and that cleans it right up, but I would just rather it not get on there if possible. Lisa, the Celebrate sentiment is a hot foil sentiment only at this point. So we don't have it in stamp form right now. And that's not a hint of anything. I'm unsure if we plan on releasing a stamp set with it at a later date. So just for right now, it is a hot foil plate only. Okay. Yes, Donna, I agree. Dimension is life. We all go to the school of Laura Baskin. And that it's just a little bit more sturdy, and it's going to give me a little bit more dimension. And I like that. Well, thank you, Mom Full of Joy. I appreciate that. I do think that it's fun to watch the step-by-step process. Maybe not every single step, but many of them. Okay. Realize that's not very much on screen. So this guy, I think I'm just going to trim down at each edge. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my paper trimmer, and let's go ahead and get that done. so that I could just do that with scissors, but I think I would rather it be, make sure I do a nice job of making sure it's nice and straight when I trim that off. Yeah, perfect. Okay. All right. I think I'm gonna love how this turns out. Studio Cato or Cato, I'm not exactly sure how you say that. I can always mention that you guys would love it in a stamp set. I just obviously can't make any promises that it will become a stamp set at this point. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this background adhered down. Val, welcome. We're happy that you found us. If you enjoy our live videos, be sure to sign up for our email notification. If you haven't, you can do that on the first page of our website. And then we send out an email reminder 15 minutes before we do a live, each time we do a live. And we do lives here on YouTube and on Facebook as well. So if you want to get those email reminders or notifications, go ahead and sign up at pinkfreshstudio.com, and then they will be in your inbox 15 minutes before we go live. And then also we do post about it in our Instagram story about 45 minutes to an hour beforehand, if that would be your preference for getting the note or for getting a notification. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate it. Okay, let's go ahead and get the Celebrate portion of the sentiment glued down. I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid glue. This is the Bearly Arts Precision Craft Glue. I'm just going to add some dots of the glue along the word. I find that to be the easiest, less messy way of adding a liquid glue to things by doing the dot method. It might take a little longer, but that's okay. It's less messy. Okay, liquid glue gives you time to get your sentiment adhered down, and you can move it a little bit if need be, and no worries if you get a little bit of glue smushed or kind of showing on your card, because it will dry clear. Okay. And then I like how those added layers, even though I glued that directly down to the card, those added layers add some natural shadowing to the card and a little bit of depth to the card. Okay. Probably need this again in a second, but I always close it up so I don't run the risk of it clogging on me. And then finally, I think I'm going to pop up the secondary sentiment with a little bit of foam. Grab that real quick. Okay, I've got these really thin foam strips. I just get them on Amazon. They're unbranded, so I think if you just search thin foam strips on Amazon, they come in like a pack of 1,000, and they're just perfect for doing little things that are thinner, that you don't need like the 3/4 to inch foam tape that the 3M foam tape typically comes in. Okay. Someone is asking if you're to use vellum for the Celebrate die, how would you hide the glue? to adhere it. Well, there is vellum tape adhesive out there that for the most part shows up, does not show up underneath. But honestly, if you put a little liquid glue where the foiling was at, it would probably be fine. It would probably dry clear and you wouldn't see it underneath the vellum anyway. All right. Let's go ahead and, ooh, I got off. Give me a minute while I get this all adhered down. I just want to make sure it's straight. Yeah, hopefully those will all be restocked soon. We're just waiting. Everything is on reorder that is out of stock right now. We're waiting on production and shipping. Okay, so there it is. We've got just one final step, friends. So let's go ahead and add some gems to our card. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use some of the dark pink gems for sure, and probably some of the peach fuzz. Thank you, Heather. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the aquamarine ones or not, but let's see. We'll see what I think here. And then I always pull out the glacier ones just in case. May not use them either, but see how I want to go with this. So I know for sure that I want to have a few smaller ones kind of be the center of this bigger pink flower. So kind of a little trio made into a triangle. Yeah, like that. Thank you, friends. I appreciate it. Okay. And then I think we might actually, let's see, just do some colorful trios with the three main colors that we used just out on the outer parts, and call that good. Maybe one down here. Thanks, friends. I know that when we're adding the bling is always when we get the most quiet. I think we're concentrating. So I think I like it over here a little bit better. Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm gonna call that good. I like the little trio we have right there in the center, and I kind of want that to be the main focus. Yeah. Okay. I want to knock those over. Okay. We are almost done, friends. Daniel, you cracked me up. Okay. And that is our card for today. We've got those beautiful gems, hot foiled sentiment, rose gold. Just lots of goodness going on this card today. Okay. And I'm glad you guys like my dark pink card base too. I appreciate that. I like how it turned out as well. I'm glad it looks nice. Okay. Well, that is my card and our time today. I'm going to go ahead and get my camera flipped around and wait for Heather to pick the winner. Of the $15 gift card code. Okay, Well, thanks for joining me today. I had a great time with you guys. I hope that you enjoyed watching this Best of Everything Floral card come together. Don't forget to check out the release blog hop and Instagram hop. There's tons of chances to win prizes and tons of inspiration to see from our card team, some of our scrapbooking team members, and then of course some welcome guests. And it looks like we have our winner. Congratulations to Donna Townsend. You won today's $15 gift card code. So congratulations. Just send me an email, as Heather mentioned in the comment above. It's leah@pinkfreshstudio.com. There's no H on the end of my name, so that's just LEA@pinkfreshstudio.com. And I will get your gift card code sent off to you in the next couple of days. Just give me 2 to 3 days to answer back because I do get quite a few emails. All right, so on the agenda this week, I am pretty certain Heather will be doing Facebook Live on Thursday at noon. And then we'll have a scrapbooking live on Friday here on YouTube with Natalie. So I think that's our live schedule for this week. Of course, that can change. Sometimes things come up. So either sign up for our email notification to get the email reminder of 15 minutes before our lives, or just check our Instagram stories about 45 minutes to an hour beforehand. And those are the couple of places that we put all of that info. So other than that, friends, it's everything that I have for you. I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I hope you've enjoyed our new release. And be sure to check out the blog hop post, because that also gives you all of the shopping promotion information as well. We've got free or discounted shipping with $50 purchases, just depending upon your location, and then a free die with $50 purchase as well while supplies last. Okay, that's everything I have for you guys today. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and hopefully we will see you at Facebook Live on Thursday. Talk to you later. Bye.